Moving on next, Professor W. Angus Wallace, Professor of Orthopaedic and Accident Surgery, University of Health Science, will be speaking on training medical terms, how best to use telemedicine. Now over to you, Angus.
It's a delight to be talking to you today and telling you about how we are moving forwards with telemedicine. Now, Olga, I'd just like you to confirm that my screen is up there.
Yes, all good, Angus.
Lovely. I'm going to talk about training medical teams how best to use telemedicine. This is really important because we have the technology, but we actually haven't yet got the skills, and we need to expand the skills amongst doctors, nurses, and people who are working in our teams. My background, I am an orthopedic professor, and I have been an orthopedic consultant for a number of years, now retired. But I have had an interest in health informatics for many years, and I ran the Faculty of Health Informatics at the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh in 2000 to 2005. I'm now based in Nottingham, and I'm training, and I set up a telemedicine clinic in Nottingham, and I'm training doctors and medical teams in Pakistan on how to carry out telemedicine more professionally. So I'm going to talk to you about how we prepare the medical team, how we train on the medical equipment, train on the equipment. It's really important for you to know about your patient before you start, and therefore you should have a checklist of information required before starting a telemedicine consultation. You need a referral letter, you need a contact number for the patient in case communication is lost. You need the patient's medication, their medical notes, electronic patient record. For orthopedic surgeons, you need x-rays, and for other specialists, you need other test results, blood pressure, EKG, blood tests, etc. Before we meet with our patient in a virtual consultation, you have to make the patient aware of what is needed. They need to know that their device that they're going to be using should be fully charged or plugged in. We need to confirm identification. This is particularly important if you are going to be prescribing any medication as a result of your consultation. And you can use a passport, driving license, and ID card with a picture to confirm that they are who they say they are. Before the consultation, I email them an information sheet telling them what is going to happen and what to expect. I ask them to use a private or confidential place for the meeting and ask them to avoid noisy locations. And if they require an examination, ensure the location is private and nobody else can see them. What about the environment? You want to get the best out of your facilities. You should avoid in your environment local noise. You need a comfortable seat because you're going to be sitting for a long time. Arrange good lighting, avoid reflections and glare, avoid noise, have a good background that will suit your patient, and ensure you can take additional notes if necessary. And most important, you have to ensure confidentiality for the patient. So let's look at designing and improving your background. This is not untypical of what happens sometimes in some consultations. You have to get into the middle of the picture. You have to avoid bad lighting and glare, and strong light through windows should also be avoided. And consider using a clothesline. You see that clothesline there across my study, and that allows me to put a drape up, and we'll show you that in a minute. You can see in this picture that I'm actually looking down at the patient. That's because most people are working from a laptop or computer that's on the table and is too low. You need to be looking at the patient. So get a computer stand to improve your eye-to-eye contact. And if you're not very good at concentrating on what to look at, put a little sign where the camera is so that you can keep on looking at the camera. And the patient will really appreciate the fact that you are paying attention and concentrating on them. So here we are, better position, still got a light problem. Who's hiding behind the door? Patients. Some patients are very conscious that they might be overheard. So you don't want to have a door in the picture if you can avoid it. Privacy is really important, and distractions behind you can harm the interview. Good central position. Computer screen and camera height improved. Look into your patient's eyes. Eye-to-eye contact is really important. Now you can use photographic backgrounds. The one that I'm using just now is the one that you're seeing on your screen. You can get this from Amazon for $20, and you can hang it over your clothesline in the room, and it makes a very much more comfortable background than some of the others that we see. Very good research project for a young member of the medical team is to explore which backgrounds patients like best. There's a project for you. So here are different backgrounds. Top left, no background, it's my study and pictures on the wall. The library background is a drape behind me. An autumn background is similar, or a plain white background. With the different platforms, you can get virtual backgrounds, and these are taken from the Zoom platform. You can see the bridge background, Caribbean background, or space background. I don't think that these are appropriate for medical consultations, and there are other pictures you can pick up which would be much more appropriate. A preparation of the equipment is important. Get all your equipment in the correct place and at the correct height. Make sure that all the connections are working and that you're able to use the equipment before you start. Modern laptops have noise cancellation, but always have a headset, earphones, and a microphone available if things go wrong. If this is your first video consultation, carry out a trial with your medical secretary or a colleague. You need a backup broadband in case your broadband goes down. I have a second broadband device that connects 20 different devices to a mobile broadband that I carry around with me. So this is the setup that I use. The picture on the screen on the left is connected to the PACS equipment, so I can see X-rays. The laptop in front has my patient in front of me. My picture is top right. And then below, underneath the platform the laptop is sitting on, we have the electronic health record, which is available hand to hand. And this is me working and meeting my patient, and you should have a phone available because you need to be contactable if the link to your patient goes down. So what about the telemedicine equipment? Nowadays, we use a video platform. There are bespoke platforms. A Medical City Online provides one. You can use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and various other platforms, but it's important that they can be kept confidential. The ability to record the consultation is important, and there should be an ability with the platform to transfer documents and screens between doctor and patient during the consultation. You should explore having an automated audio transcription for the audio recording. And you can use artificial intelligence to help you produce a consultation letter, a very brief letter at the end of your consultation. Now, your behavior with your patient is really important, and it's been alluded to earlier today. You need to put the patient at their ease. They need to know that you are paying full attention and concentrating on them. You need to avoid distractions during the consultation and put your mobile phone on vibrate only. Good eye-to-eye contact throughout. And as a doctor, you should avoid using medical terminology unless it's really necessary. I'm very keen on using the granny rule. Treat your patient as if she's your favorite granny or grandpa. Speak to them in a friendly manner that makes you approachable to them. Good communication, interest and empathy are all key to a good telemedicine consultation. At the beginning, introduce yourself, confirm your patient's ID, explain again what a video consultation means. Ask the patient if you can record the consultation. In the past, this was frowned upon. But nowadays, it's amazing how often people are very keen for that to happen. And if you have parts of your examination that need to be documented, you can take photos, but again, you need permission from the patient to do so, and you need to tell the patient where they're going to be stored. I've got a teleprompter that allows me to set it so that I am stimulated to remember the things I'm going to ask. And we use additional information at the time of the consultation, which includes self-assessment forms or patient-reported outcome measures. I promised to talk briefly about consenting for surgery remotely. This is something that nobody believed could be done. You have to prepare a consent form. You must get to know your patient fairly well, and you tailor the information given to the patient depending on what they can understand and what they are able to take in. In the UK, we are obliged to have a cooling off period after obtaining consent so that the patient can think about whether they really want to go ahead with their planned operation. So we have to build that in. By having a telemedicine platform that allows you to share documents, you can share with the patient PDFs. You can have them printed off at the other end, but you may have to put them in the mail before the consultation and then discuss it with the patient at the consultation. You should be able to show the screens that I've demonstrated previously to your patient during the consultation so they can see their x-rays and you can point out the problems that they've got and how they're going to be resolved. And you can take a photograph or scan the final signed consent that the patient must return to you in the hospital so that you have that documentation. This is the way that I prepared consent forms way back in 2011, 2012, where we put in details of the procedure that the patient was being offered, the intended benefits, the significant and unavoidable or frequently occurring risks. These are given to the patient, and then you talk through this so that the patient fully understands what the risks are. I have to sign that form to say that I have told the patient about what I'm doing. I also have leaflets that I give the patient, and I've got a YouTube video, a 20-minute video describing what a shoulder replacement is, what's involved in the operation, and this gives additional information to the patient. Now, this is the modified form, and it's really quite important. When you get the original consent, the patient signs the top X box and dates it. That is then copied, sent to the hospital. When they come in for their operation, they sign the bottom X box to confirm that they gave consent previously and the signature above was there. This converts an unofficial document into an official legal document. Recording the consultation. You can do a single track recording of all the audio content, but my recommendation is that you use 2 tracks, one for the doctor, one for the patient. They're linked synchronously. They're then recorded on MP3 files. Any pictures are stored as JPEGs. And if you take any video recordings, you can store them as MP4 files. You are responsible, or your hospital is responsible, for ensuring that these recordings are stored safely. And nowadays that would be in cloud storage. Audio transcription of audio tracks can now be done either real time or pretty quickly. And the ideal is for your audio tracks to be converted into a Word document and for your secretary to take that Word document and edit it, correct it, and make sure that it all makes sense when they receive it. This sort of translation already occurs with Alexa and Siri, as well as Microsoft Word Translate. The consultant has a responsibility for checking the transcription, and you can create a short discharge letter using artificial intelligence at the end of the consultation. A word of warning, those of you who have an Alexa at home, I don't know whether you know, but Alexa is storing your conversation in the cloud, and it's up there, and it's accessible to other people possibly. You can have it deleted, but Amazon do not guarantee it's all deleted. Finally, the signing off of the consultation. Why don't you get the patient to approve the transcription? Nowadays, we're transparent. The medical team must sign off the transcription, and storage of the transcription and consultation note in medical records by transferring them to the electronic medical record. Always leave the patient with a contact point, medical secretary or therapist. Finally, this paper has just been published in Clinical Orthopaedics and Related Research, showing that telemedicine for orthopedic care has proved to be very successful in a systematic review or meta-analysis. There's not sufficient time at the moment for questions, but I'm very happy for you to send me an email to this email address And I will, Olga, take any questions if you have them in the background for me at the moment. Can you let me know?